Hey guys, happy hump day. It's going to be hump day in 1 minute. So if you have somebody to hump, go hump them for happy hump day. I am single, so I have nobody to hump. Okay, so check it out. I want to clear up a couple things first. My first one being, I love my Juan Toscano, but don't ask me who he is because I won't reveal it. I'm a woman of my word. But with that said, and he knows I'm going to say this, I think his theory is outrageous. I think it is so fucking over the top that it's not even common sense. Now, him and I don't see eye to eye to this, and we've discussed it. And we don't see eye to eye to this because he believes that this whole thing was on a much bigger conspiracy level. I believe that they just stepped in shit. And neither one of us really know who's right. We just go with our gut instinct. He has a hard time believing that they just stepped in shit, that it was such this coincidence. I don't find it that hard to believe that there was a murder close to Avery and they just stepped in shit. Why they only focused on Avery, we all know that, because $36 million, and they didn't like him. Josh had no criminal record. Josh had no reason. Avery could have done it. That's how Avery got nailed. It is not some big conspiracy theory. I think his theories remind me of Chad. They're just so over the top. I'm not buying it. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I mean, he lives there. He would know. But I'm not buying it. It's too illogical. It reminds me of Alex Jones bullshit. Sorry, Juan, I love you, but you knew I was going to say that. Okay. So let's move on. Zellner, John Farrick came out with I hope I got his name right, came out with an article recently stating exactly what I've been saying for months, that Zellner does not need to find the killer in order to get him out. And I knew that. He also states that Zellner wants to make sure that she gets the killer because it's a high profile case and she wants to do the right thing, whatever. I'm cool with that. But my theory deep down is just get him the fuck out. Worry about all the shit after. Like, worry about who the killer is after. Who cares? Like, just get him out. Now, with that said, I am not Zellner. I am not doubting Zellner. I am not questioning Zellner. Zellner has 17 exonerations. I have none. Zellner's a multimillionaire. I'm broke. So it's all good. But I don't understand that. I don't understand why you would worry about the killer. Just get him the fuck out. Worry about the killer after. So Zellner, if you want to answer me, that would be wonderful. Okay, so let's move on. A couple months ago, I told you why I know Josh is the killer. And I'm going to bring you that proof of why Josh is the killer. I'm also going to bring you the proof why I know Zellner knows Josh is the killer and why he's mentioned so many times. I'm also going to tell you who I believe the writer of the Silky Key is and who was brought into Zellner's office for questioning that was singing like a bird. Okay, now let's get right into it because I know you guys are like, yeah, okay. All right, check it out. All right, so we all know Josh owns the deer camp at which the Quarry is, and it's on the gravel road. Okay. The Quarry is where the pelvic bone was found. Another interesting fact is that not only was there a pelvic bone, but they believe, I forgot which cop it was, believed that he had a charred foot. Now, you would think that they would bring it in for questioning, even if they were wrong. Nah, not these guys. They decided, it's not a charred foot, let's just let it go. Really? So let's just fuck it. It's not a charred foot, so we don't even have to test it. That's exactly how it went down. Why it went down like that, I have no idea, but that's fucked up. Now, the Silky letter. There's been a lot of question about who wrote the Silky letter. I am pretty convinced the Silky letter was written by Fred RADANDT. How do I know that? I'm going to tell you how. Josh is the killer. Josh told somebody, who I don't know, but he's the president of his father's company. Something in my gut tells me that Fred knew and wrote this letter. Now, Zellner also spoke to somebody, came into Zellner's office and sang like a bird. Zellner never said who it was, but she did tweet that. That person who was tweeting like a bird, I don't know who that was. However, what I do know is that it was Josh's, Josh is who this person sung like a bird to. That's pretty big. Okay. I don't know how much of the public knows that, but that's fact. Next, Josh stated that he drove by the quarry at 4:30 and that there was a huge bonfire going on. He stated that it was clear out, he could see clear as day, and he saw that there was a big bonfire. Now, I went ahead and looked up what sunset was on October 31st of 2005. Interestingly enough, guess what? Sunset was at 4:42. I lived in the Midwest. I'm not telling you that there was it was, dark, pitch black, you couldn't see. That's not true. You could see, but it wasn't clear as day for you to see all the way over there to all the way over there. Wouldn't happen. It's next to impossible. So that's ding, 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 sign number one. Now, Scott, because we all know how much I love Scott Tadich, Scott claims that when he picked up Barb at 5 o'clock or dropped Barb off 5 o'clock, I don't remember which one it was now, and sorry, but I didn't look, I didn't go through those facts again, but he either picked up or dropped her off at 5 or 5:30, and then Brian Dassey came home at 5 and was playing with Brendan. So there was no big bonfire going on at 4:30. Clue number one. That was clue number two. I'm sorry, clue number two. Now, let's say, here's my other question. Let's say that Stephen did do this, okay? Let's say that he decided to kill somebody. How in the fuck did he get on Josh's property and not get noticed? It was Josh and him such good buddies that he said, come on, Stephen, come on in. And what time frame did Stephen do this on the 31st? Because if Josh was at the deer camp at 4:30, Stephen, supposedly there's up in air about what time it was, but he did all this burning before 4:30. He had to have killed her sometime between 2:30 or 3. The bus driver said that he was there. She saw her there at 3:45, which if you place Josh as the killer, that could make sense. If you place Stephen as the killer, it doesn't make sense. But let's say it's true. Let's say that that the bus driver saw her at 3:45 dropping Brendan off. So at 3:45, when he was dropping Brendan off, when she was dropping Brendan off, she saw Teresa alive. There is no way in holy hell, and let's follow this timeline, there is no way in holy hell that Stephen killed her in a 45-minute span, burned her at the quarry no less, and then was home to go in the garage at whatever time he was going in the garage to meet Bobby and Brendan. I mean, if you look at the timeline, none of it makes sense. Okay, so why was Josh not questioned more? That doesn't make sense. And I know one conspiracy theory is it's all related, but it's not. I'm going to get to that after. Now, let's move on. He did tell the police, he didn't tell the police that the bones were from the quarry and planted them on Avery property. Now, I'm not saying that who took the bones from the quarry and put it on Avery property. This is where I believe the police step in. This is where I believe the police said, here's opportunity. Let's do this. The bones are here. We found this here. Okay, this is close enough to Avery property. But it gets even better. I didn't find any criminal record on Josh, but I did find 2 civil suits against Josh. And In both cases, guess who the judge was? One was Willis and one was Fox. A little too coincidental? I don't know. On February 20th, 2006, and Juan, this is for you because this is how I know it's not a big conspiracy. On February 20th of 2006, Josh was the president of his dad's company. They were going to sue the city of Manitowoc for some kind of lawsuit. I don't know what it was, but it was some kind of lawsuit, some civil lawsuit. And the guy told him to make sure that they drop that lawsuit. If they were in this big conspiracy with the county and the state and in the city and the state, there's no way they're going to file a lawsuit against them. I don't remember when the Silky Key letter came, but I am wondering if it was somehow connected to this lawsuit if Josh didn't drop it. Like I said, I don't know if I'm right, but I'm kind of thinking that this lawsuit, when he was going to sue the city, is somehow tied into all of this. Like I said, I don't know how. I just believe it's somehow tied in. Now, moving on. Okay. This is interesting too. The dogs from the police were pretty clear about that she was killed near or in a red trailer. What they don't know, though, is if it was the red trailer on Avery property or if it was the red trailer at the deer camp. That leaves a lot open. The trailer at the deer camp, we know Avery's trailer, I believe, is even still there. But the trailer at the deer camp is gone within, I think it was 8 or 9 months from October 31st of 2005. So basically, when Brendan was arrested or when Stephen Avery's trial started, all of a sudden, there was no red trailer anymore. There was no path to go down. My guess, and again, this is just a guess, but my guess is when Buting and Strang were hired, this trailer was gone because then there was no other red trailer. There was only one red trailer left, and that was Avery's. That's my guess, which to me makes perfect sense. Now, the other thing is that there was on November 7th of 2005, there was a female officer from Kukuwana Police Department, and her bloodhound was named Loof. They covered about 5 to 10 miles of RADANDT's property. Loof, the dog, was very intense on the south entry of the red trailer by the concrete stoop. That was RADANDT's property, but if you remember, they say that the truck, that the RAV4 came in on through the south entrance. If you remember the videotape of them, the videotape of them helicopter when they were looking for the car was also focusing on the south entrance. The things that make you go, Okay, now, Josh stated to somebody else, I don't have the full police report because this came from Zellner's paperwork from August 26th. Josh stated on somebody else on the same day of 11/5/05 that Josh pulled up to his deer camp right off of Cuss Road and was able to see everything on the Avery property. Not only was he able to see everything perfectly clear, which would have been after 4:30, which would have been, because remember, he passed Avery's at 4:30, so you're looking at sunset at 4:42. If you look at the picture between Cuss Road is like here, and Avery property is here. They are not even remotely close to each other as far as being able to see behind Avery property. Now, because of that, they not only could not see it, but now all of a sudden, and again, this is November 5th, But now all of a sudden Josh is saying that not only was there a fire, but that fire was contained in a 55-gallon drum. There is no way in holy hell that he would be able to know that. Now, what does this do? This does two things. This one plants the thought that Avery burned her in a drum. It plants the thought that there was a bonfire. Now, here's my biggest question, though. Why would Josh know this? It's a little too coincidental that Josh has the story of a 55-gallon drum and a bonfire, and that's the exact way that Kratz used to kill her. Now, Juan is sitting back going, I told you it's a fucking conspiracy, but it's not. Because what they did was they found the bones. They found the bones in the quarry, and what did they do? Because they found the bones in the quarry, now they bring him to Avery. This is where Josh steps back. This is where Josh has absolutely nothing to do with this anymore, and this is all about the police. In my personal opinion, the reason why Josh was allowed on the property, which still makes no sense to me, but he was allowed on the property, a closed investigation, was because he was helping them plant the evidence. Now, I don't know, I'm sure all you guys watch all these crime shows like I do, but they say that a killer is going to stick close to the body. A killer is going to stick close to the crime scene. Go to the funeral, they'll be best friends. One thing I haven't been able to find out is if Josh is somehow connected to the Hallbox. Did Josh kill her? Because Josh has no criminal record. Did Josh kill her as a way to hurt the family for something? Is it a business deal gone bad? Or is there something going on with the Hallbox business and the Randstad business? Something that made him want to hate Teresa more than, let me just do a random killing. It's very odd that some president of a company is just going to do a random killing for no reason. It's got to be connected to business somehow. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be part 2 of this video. So let me go on. So, and what I just said about what he stated about that he saw in a 55-gallon drum, that's in Zellner's appeal. I did that already. Josh also stated that, not that he stated, but he was also on that property. I think I counted like 4 or 5 times. And one time, and this is also in Zellner's motion, is that one time he left out the D in his name. According to what I read, Zellner said something, some kind of name that meant, I may be getting this wrong, so don't quote me on it, but she said some kind of name that meant left the D out. So everybody kind of thinks that it's about Ryan, and it's not. It's about Josh. Why Josh left the D out, we don't know. If it means anything, I don't know. A lot of people also think that the pelvic bone was found in Avery property, but it wasn't. It was proven to be found at the quarry. And that's why Buting said that the quarry is where she was burned, where she was murdered. And I think that's it. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with this. This was part 1 of why Josh Randon is the killer. And I can only state that I am 99.9% positive that Zellner is onto him. Zellner knows he's the killer. A lot of Zellner's tweets were about Josh. And I am so happy that I had this conversation with somebody that brought me to this, because the more I read about Josh, the more I'm like, wow. How everybody's connected into it, that I don't know yet. But I will find out, and I will get it to you guys. So that's all I got for you. Again, happy hump day. Make sure you subscribe. And that's it. So I will see you guys in a few days. I might make a video tomorrow, but I've been so busy with work. So I'll try, I promise. But make sure you subscribe. Make sure your friends subscribe, and I will speak to you guys soon. And I will make a part 2 by the end of the week, as soon as I get time to research more. All right? Peace out.